Happy Friday, everyone. Justine Stewart here from Official Jam is Inspired. I'm back using a new platform. I'm using Zoom. So I just wanted to make sure that my microphone was picking up. So I'm back on. But anyway, again, happy Friday. And today here at Official JMS Inspired, it's Mindful Friday. So I just wanted to get on for a little bit to share some tips and just tell you what I'm mindful for on this Friday. First, I am reminded to be mindful of the fruit of the Spirit, faithfulness. The other day I had talked or put posts up briefly about peace and joy. And today it's faithfulness. So when I say faithfulness, let's be reminded to have faithfulness. For myself, I'll speak for me. Faithfulness to God, faithfulness to my family, faithfulness to my personal and professional pursuits in life. So that's just a little personal testimony for me about faithfulness. So I'll end with saying briefly, remain faithful and he will give you the desires of your heart. So at the end, after I'm done, just talking about the tips I want to share, just comment and let me know if you agree. Do you agree that you should remain faithful and that he will give you the desires of your heart? You can disagree with an emoji at the end. But here are my 3 tips to remain faithful on this wonderful, happy, mindful Friday. The first tip is to surround yourself with written reminders of motivation and inspiration daily. Actually, let me double check. I don't think my computer is plugged up and I don't want it to die in the middle of the broadcast. Yeah, it's on battery now. So the first tip to remain faithful is to, again, surround yourself with written reminders of motivation and inspiration daily. So I just wanted to share some examples of what I'm talking about. For myself, I have like scripture cards. This one I actually received from my sorority, but it states, "I'm with you always," and it's actually from Matthew 28:20. And on the back, it has verse, but I have these scripture cards around me just to remind me, like, he's with me always. I'm not alone. And then I have these scripture cards. They're really kind of old and taped up, but the story behind these are almost 10 years ago when I was teaching 7th grade in a rural district here in North Carolina. I was actually pregnant with my son, and it was a hard year because I was teaching social studies and English. I had to drive an hour each way to go to work. And again, I was pregnant and it was high risk. But I had a student, and I can't remember her name. I remember names of a lot of my students, like Shaquana and Emerald, and who's my other students? D'Anzio and Adrian, and I just had a whole list of students. Those are like my students from my first few years of teaching, but they know who they are. But anyway, this student, she gave me a box. Oh, I dropped them all. It had about, I don't know how many were in it, but it had scripture cards, and it was in a wonderful, beautiful glass box. And I actually broke the case. Actually, I broke the box, but it had scripture cards, and I really needed them at that time, being pregnant. Actually, my first child, being pregnant at like 37, 38, and being scared and high risk. But I went to work every day and I taught for up to 9 months. But these scripture cards that student gave me, they were helpful. I would have one by my desk every day and I would read it, and it would just remind me. Like this one says, "In the day of my trouble, I will call upon thee, for thou wilt answer me," from Psalms 86:7. And then on the back, it transcribes it into layman's terms. "Help me, Lord, to act with your love in the seemingly impossible situations of your life." So these are just some examples of ways to remain faithful. So I just wanted to share that personal little story. The scripture cards, you can have them with Bible verses like the ones I have to read on throughout the day, just because, and sometimes to help you get through when you are going through, because all days are not easy peasy. Sometimes you're going to have hiccups along the way during your days, and you just need something to just get you through, to help you get through. Another way to remain faithful is to have like motivational or inspirational journals to pin your thoughts and feelings for the day. So this is one that I had last year, Never Stop Chasing Your Dreams. And I wrote all through it. It's filled up. I wrote up through the whole entire journal last year. And then I picked these up last year. The Time Is Now is one. Another one is You Got This. And I actually write. I love to write. I'm a writer. I've been an English teacher on and off for almost 20 years. This is another one I write in, Walk by Faith, 2 Corinthians 5 and 7. And another one I received from my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Faith does not make things easy, it makes them possible, from Luke 1:37. So if you have motivational, inspirational journals or notebooks to pen your thoughts and feelings for the day, it just helps. It helps. You can pick out, like, for example, you can pick out like a scripture. I just wanted to make sure my volume is good. You can pick out a scripture, like, for example, from like my scripture card that I have. Okay. And you can write it down in your journal and then write down what comes to your mind. Just keep it simple. Another part of motivational and inspirational is listening to a motivational podcast or video and then write down the words of wisdom from that, from greats like Iyanla Vanzant, Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, Les Brown, Joel Osteen, Lisa Nichols, Oprah Winfrey. And those are some of my favorites and some that I have written a lot of words of wisdom from inside here and inside my other journals that I've shared. Okay. So the last tip to remain faithful is to wear reminders of keeping faithful as much as possible. For me, that's wearing like daily inspirational jewelry. Today, I am wearing my Woman of God. I don't know if you can see it, but my Woman of God bracelet. That's what I wear today. And I think, yeah, that's all I have on today. Also, I have on my t-shirt for JMS Inspired, Love, Light, and Inspired. This is the white with the pink print. So I wear reminders most days, not every day, but most days, to help me remain faithful, especially when you're having those days or just because. Also, another way, this is part of my last tip, you can wake up and go to bed praying and meditating using motivational apps like the Abide app. I personally use the Abide app every single day. And it actually wakes me up with like a soothing melodic alarm to start my day, even though some days I hit snooze because I'm not a morning person. Then after the alarm, you can click and get started with a short guided Bible verse to meditate on. So those are the 3 tips on how you can remain faithful. I shared some personal tips, just some personal tidbits on things that I use and things that I think that would be helpful for you. So I wanted to end with saying, I pray that everyone has a great weekend and that the rest of your Friday is wonderful. Also, don't forget to check out me, Justine M. Stewart, on all media platforms, Twitter, Instagram. I am Justine M. Stewart on Instagram, and just Justine M. Stewart here on Facebook. And also official JMS Inspired. Check us out on all social media outlets, actually on just Instagram and Facebook at official JMS Inspired, with the underscore on Instagram. Support us, check out our t-shirts. We have 2 categories right now, the Love, Light, and Inspire and Walking in My Integrity and Purpose. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. And until we meet again, stay safe and take care. Later.